Hello, people. Exciting day today. We dumped big, just as big as yesterday, but I think we like bottomed out around 62 for right now. Why? It's because Iran attacked Israel with drones. Now, this attack is not actually meant to hit any targets. They are basically sending a fleet of slow-moving drones that it's going to take hours to reach Israel. And as of yet, I don't know if they've sent any missiles. These fleet of drones is being tracked by Israeli radar. So I think like this fleet of drones, they're just kind of like fodder. They're supposed to be shot down so Iran can be like, hey, look, we retaliated against the embassy strike, which Israel launched against us. But they're not actually meant to hit anything because if they do, Israel's going to have massive retaliation. And Iran doesn't actually want a war with Israel because they can't win, obviously. Because I think they know that they're not really going to get too much support from like the big Muslim players in the area, like Saudi Arabia and Egypt, with both of which hate Iran, basically. So I don't think Iran's going to draw too much support from the neighbors around the area outside of the militants at this point. And they don't really want to piss off Israel too much for a giant counterstrike. Now, unfortunately, we have Benjamin Netanyahu in office right now, and he will take any chance to strike back. So there is a decent chance this will escalate, which may make for larger drops. But however, generally what happens with this kind of news is like it bounces down really hard first, and then it starts bouncing back up. And then subsequent news does make it bounce down, but not as much as the first drop. So I don't expect us to go down that much further unless people start launching nukes and then like everything, all the cards are out. But I don't think that's going to happen because I don't even know if Iran actually has any nukes. And obviously Israel is constrained by other things, other parameters as well, and they're not going to nuke anyone if no one nukes them, obviously. But Israel does have a much superior air force and they can counterstrike much harder. And since Iran's not going to get support from Saudi Arabia and the UAE or Egypt, they probably don't want to go into a solo war with Israel. And the other thing is Iran probably doesn't border Israel unless they want to airdrop people in, which they would all get killed, obviously, by the IDF. The expansion of this war does kind of have its limits. It's most likely going to be a proxy war with Iran's like militant proxies like Hezbollah and maybe the Houthis if they can reach Israel and their ships and stuff versus Israel itself. So I think the expansion of this war is somewhat limited. Don't think the U.S. is actually going to send troops, but we are definitely sending military aid to Israel. So that's kind of where we are right now with this. And I do think right now, like holding back is fine. I would actually buy some Bitcoin if I was buying. If you can be riskier and buy some altcoins because when the recovery happens, obviously I think it's going to rebound fairly quickly. Maybe not quite as quickly as the whole COVID thing did a couple of years ago because that's a little bit different. Basically that like we went down and 5 hours later we came back up like 60-70%. May not be that fast. But and like Monday might be a bad stock market day because the stock market is going to react and digest all this information between Iran and Israel. And if it escalates, the stock market could definitely go down more because all this stuff affects things like gas prices and that. So I think like that's going to be a bit of a raveling. But overall, like I don't think this is going to be a massive like long-term decrease. I do think you still have the Hong Kong ETFs in like next week, and that's going to affect it after the halving. The halving is going to restrict supply. So overall, I actually think it's going to be okay for the market. But you might want to sit on the side with some dry powder at this point to see if it goes down more, because there is a decently large chance of escalation, and maybe there's going to be a big event that makes the market go down further. But I wouldn't sit on the side and wait with all the dry powder, because this could be that chance that you're looking for to actually buy at really low prices, especially for the altcoins, because many of the altcoins have gone down 30-40% over the past week. This might be the best chance you get at them for quite a while, especially if we start rebounding back up very, very quickly, which is always a possibility in these instances. So if you're wondering why we went down today, it is because of the war in Iran and between Iran and Israel. I think it is a knee-jerk reaction between there. And obviously like stuff like this does affect commodities prices. It does affect gas prices. And that's why it's actually like, scaring people right now. But I think after the initial shock, we will actually rebound some, and then we might not go down further than the initial shock. I wouldn't say the initial shock's quite over yet, because we literally got this news like 45 minutes ago, and like people are still coming in, digesting the news. Markets are still going to react. Plus, markets are not open today, so we might not have the full reaction until Monday. If you want to wait until Tuesday, Wednesday to buy, might be smart. You might be missing out on the lowest point of the dip, but they should still be like lower than 70K or 68K by the time Tuesday, Wednesday rolls around. So we'll see how that goes. Right now, if you want to take the risk, buy some Bitcoin. And if you want to be even riskier, buy some altcoins. But it is a very, very risky endeavor right now to buy anything at this point, because we do risk the ability for escalation. I don't really know what Netanyahu is going to do. I don't know what Iran's going to do, but this attack by Iran is obviously not supposed to actually hit any targets, because you wouldn't tell people you're launching a drone strike, first of all, if you wanted to hit targets, and you would also send a lot of missiles over if you wanted to hit targets. But I think Iran knows that if they hit too many Israeli targets or any Israeli targets, there's going to suffer like a massive counterstrike. There has been some reports of a massive explosion in the Iranian capital, but I'm not really sure if that's true or not. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.